Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's live market show. Uh, पिछले मंगलवार भी हमने एक शो किया था और पिछले वीक में भी हमने कुछ एक दो शो किए थे। काफ़ी अच्छा रिस्पांस था और आप में से जितने अभी यहाँ पे हमें अटेंड कर रहे हैं उसमें से मैंने देखा कि सुमित, संतनु, दिग्विजय, इनका पार्टिसिपेशन हमेशा ही रहा है। सो थैंक यू वेरी मच। अगर हमें आज के ओवरऑल ट्रेड को देखना है तो मुझे लगता है आज काफ़ी इंटरेस्टिंग डे है और ऐसे मौके हमेशा हमें लगता है कि जो शॉर्ट टर्म ट्रेडर्स होते हैं या इन्वेस्टर्स होते हैं उनके लिए वो काफ़ी, मैं कहूँगा कि फ्रूटफुल होते हैं, बिकॉज मार्केट एक बड़े करेक्शन के बाद एक इम्पॉर्टेंट लेवल्स के करीब आके स्टेबल हो रहा है। बहुत सारे इवेंट्स लाइंड अप है। कल आरबीआई की मीट है, उसके बाद इन्फ्लेशन के नंबर्स आने वाले हैं, यूएस के इन्फ्लेशन के नंबर्स, हमारे इन्फ्लेशन के भी नंबर्स आएंगे और वो आएंगे इन द कमिंग वीक। सो अगले हफ्ते वहाँ पे भी हमें इन्फ्लेशन के जो हमारे इंडिया के नंबर्स है वो मिलेंगे, लेकिन वहाँ पे अगर देखा जाए तो हमारे इन्फ्लेशन के नंबर्स में से देखा जाए तो मोर और लेस न्यूट्रली एक्सपेक्टेड है, लेकिन यूएस के इन्फ्लेशन के नंबर्स काफ़ी इंटरेस्टिंग रहेंगे और काफ़ी इम्पैक्टफुल रहेंगे। अगर वहाँ पे इन्फ्लेशन घट के आता है तो फिर वहाँ पे जो फेड की पॉलिसी है और जो फेड की जो डिसीजन है वो शायद एग्रेसिवली रेट को कट कर सकते हैं और वो इमर्जिंग मार्केट्स के लिए पॉजिटिव हो सकता है। बट राइट नाउ जो इकोनॉमी के नंबर्स आए थे अभी तक के, एक्सक्लूडिंग इन्फ्लेशन नंबर्स, वो नंबर्स अगर आप देखें तो वो नंबर्स थोड़े से यानी कि एक्सपेक्टेशन से काफ़ी स्ट्रॉन्ग थे और इसी वजह से जो नवंबर में इनकी जो मीटिंग है यूएस में, जो फेड की जो मीटिंग है 6 एंड 7 को, वहाँ पे शायद ये पॉसिबिलिटी है कि वो अपने दरों को एक मैं कहूँगा कि जो एग्रेसिवली कट करना है उसे नहीं करेंगे। शायद जो 50 बेसिस पॉइंट का जो मार्केट एक्सपेक्ट कर रहा था शायद 25 बेसिस पॉइंट पे आके रुक सकता है। अगर ये सिनेरियो बनता है तो क्या होगा कि मार्केट में एक मिक्स ट्रेंड बनेगा और इसी वजह से मार्केट में जो ओवरऑल फॉर्मेशन बन रहा है वो काफ़ी अनसर्टन है और इसी वजह से हमने काफ़ी अनसर्टनिटी में मार्केट को देखा है। But the base part is that yesterday we saw good amount of buying support when the market was very close to its previous swing lowest level. वो कौन से लेवल से? ओके, वो देखते हैं हम लोग। लेकिन जो कल की इंपॉर्टेंट मीटिंग है उसके बारे में भी हम कुछ बात करेंगे इन द मिडल ऑफ द शो। सो वेरी फर्स्ट विल गो थ्रू विथ the technical pattern of few stocks as well as indices. Okay, so please stay connected. Very quickly मैं मेरे फाइल को शेयर कर लेता हूँ and we'll see like how we can go for it and what should be our strategy. I'm sure like we can see the technical pattern and chart of Nifty 50. Correct? Okay. So let's start here and if you see the technical pattern of Nifty, price pattern of Nifty, then it was somewhere close to 26,300 levels on 27th of September. From there all the way it corrected back to the levels of 24,700. इनफैक्ट जब प्रीवियस मीट में हमने जो डिस्कस किया था हमने यही किया था कि 25,500 ये मार्केट के लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट सपोर्ट है, लेकिन जब मार्केट में करेक्शन आया और मार्केट में कुछ इवेंट्स बने, निफ्टी ने इन लेवल्स को गैप डाउन करके ही ओपन किया और उसके बाद हमने और रिलेंटलेस सेल ऑफ देखा और इसी वजह से हमें जो नेक्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट लेवल्स नजर आ रहे थे वो थे 24,750 के, जिसमें हमने कल के दिन कल के हमारे कमेंट्री में हमने मेंशन किया था कि 24,750 24,700 ये मार्केट के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट सपोर्ट है। एंड टिल द मार्केट्स आर होल्डिंग अबाउट दिस लेवल्स, again we can see some pullback in the market, but in case if we see the market is breaking and sustaining below 24,700, then we can see further more weakness. So 24,700 you can very clearly see on the chart and you can see the horizontal line which I plotted on the chart. And today, despite there was weakness in the world markets, in the US, in the Asian markets, we managed to sustain above the previous lowest level, which is positive. And maybe that's the reason we are seeing some short covering. The next important level to watch out for would be 25,150. And what is it? it was the highest point of yesterday's trading session. So till the markets are not crossing 25,150, we are going to see range bound sort of activity. But on the dismissal of 25,150, we can see sizable pullback in this market. Sizable means what? Markets will try to retest 20-day simple moving average, which is somewhere close to 25,500. Also, if we consider the gap down openings, then close to 25,500, 25,600, the market is having next leg of resistance that you can see here in the dotted lines. So these are the area. This is where, like, we can see the market is going to find major resistance. But at these levels, I'm expecting pullback to continue, and 25,150, 25,140 going to act as major resistance in the near term. If we consider other indices, then in that Bank Nifty, there also we saw a quick sell-off in last 4 or 5 days, and from the levels of 54,300 all the way, Bank Nifty fallen to the levels of 50,250. And one thing that I always mention and always uh, brief on it is, whenever there is a fall in the market, sector specific index or indices falls heavily, or they outperforms as compared to the major uh, base index like Nifty 50. So this time also, when the Nifty was correcting from the highs, Bank Nifty corrected much sharper than the overall sell off in the Nifty 50. For Bank Nifty, again, yesterday's highest level is very, very important. Why? Because it has not broken yesterday's lowest level, which was around 50,200. And if you see the entire intraday pattern of yesterday's trading session, then what we saw a sharp buying interest in the market in the second half, and maybe this is something which is going to support the market in the near term. Yesterday's FI figure, if you see, then domestic institutions bought nearly 12-13,000 crores in the market. They infused that much money into the market, while if you see the figures of FIs, then they sold nearly 7 to 8,000 crores. What it means? It means that domestic institutions have again started taking interest in the market. Now we have corrected almost 5% from the highs. And if you consider the trend of last 2 years, then since 2022, the market has never corrected more than 10%. So it may be a very strong bottoming formation also. We don't know. But for that, we need some more cues. What is important is that we need a strong close above the yesterday's highest level of 25,150, and for Bank Nifty we need a close above 51,800. Okay, so keep these levels in your mind. And yesterday's lowest level, 25,700, it should not break that. In case Nifty breaks 24,700, then in that case, the chances of hitting 24,400 or even 24,000 would turn bright. So we need to be careful, and today's day is extremely important. Why? Because see, whenever there is an event, prior to that, we see some specific formation in the market and it guides us. So tomorrow's event is what? RBI is meeting. Yes, everyone is on the street expecting that there is like uh, I'm going to say governor is not uh, uh, going to give any specific rate cut in this meeting, and he is going to keep this stance unchanged. Yes, so that is what the expectation is. But at the same time, we have to give more weightage to the commentary of RBI governor and Mr. Shaktikanta Das. If he gives hints about when he's going to cut the rate, then that will actually add to the sentiment. We are of the view that by December onwards, shallow rate cut should come in the market, and that shallow rate cut will, I'm going to say, in next 2-3 meetings, we can see the rate cut of nearly 75 basis point to 100 basis point cut for Indian markets. But that is going to start from December onwards, and prior to that, again we are going to focus on the data related to the economy. So कल के दिन में rate cut आएगा नहीं आएगा? So one thing is very clear, कल के मीटिंग में रेट कट आना ना के बराबर है, बट जो कमेंट्री आएगी दैट इज इक्वली इंपॉर्टेंट, एंड बेस्ड ऑन दैट हमें लगता है कि शायद मिस्टर शक्तिकांता दास ये बता सकते हैं कि हमारी जो आने वाली मीटिंग रहेगी दिसंबर ऑनवर्ड्स हम इंटरेस्ट रेट कट इंडियन मार्केट्स के लिए आते हुए देख सकते हैं। और इसी वजह से हमें लगता है कि जो हमारा मार्केट है वो अभी थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूज है। मार्केट इज प्रिपेयरिंग वेदर टू गो हायर और टू गो डाउन। आइडियल स्ट्रैटेजी क्या होनी चाहिए? आइडियल स्ट्रैटेजी यही होनी चाहिए कि हमें 25,150 में कुछ हमारे लॉन्ग पोजीशंस को कम करना है। व्हाई? बिकॉज दिस टाइम दिस सेल ऑफ वाज मच डीपर. We saw good amount of sell off in mid cap and small cap companies. And also, if we consider the overall global cues, then they are completely mixed and uncertain. And whenever there is an uncertainty, we need to be very, very careful with our long positions. So if there is a trading long position, if there is a leverage long positions, then try to reduce those positions, because what is important is to manage your money whenever there is uncertainty. It is very difficult to predict that what will be the next action. Crude is rising, geopolitical tensions are still at an unchanged levels. They are still there. They are rising, in fact, on a day-to-day basis. US is giving some mixed flows. China is also waiting for the specific flows from the US to come. If they go aggressively for rate cutting, then it will help commodities to do well. But today, if you see the commodities, then they are under pressure. Why? Because there is a possibility that US may not cut the rate, or they may go for cutting the rates by only 25 basis point instead of the street expectations of 50 basis point. Okay, so that is all like we discussed about the macros and technical pattern of Nifty and Bank Nifty. But if we consider the technical patterns of few stocks, then in that my favorite is NALCO, National Aluminium. The reason is because the stock is forming some bigger candle, and whenever there is a bigger candle, one thing is very clear, that something is going to happen in that particular stock. So we need to watch this particular type of stocks very closely. Today, when there was correction in the market, we saw good amount of support close to 200 levels. From there all the way it recovered back to 210, 220, and based on its technical formation, I am expecting stock to do well. So today's low should be the final stop loss for holding any long positions or for creating any long positions. I am expecting stock to move towards either 235, or in the best case scenario 245 or 250. The other stock which we like is Reliance Industries. And why we like? The reason is we like Reliance Industries. It is like it was somewhere close to some 3,100 levels, and from there all the way the stock corrected 3,200 levels. From there all the way it corrected back to 2,700 levels. And what was it? 2,700 was the previous lowest level for the stock. It is something, I'm going to say, uh, very close to its very long-term support. And stock which is the part of Nifty 50 and having huge weightage, if such type of stocks are like very close to their previous lows, then we need to take a contra bet of going long with a stop loss close to 2700. I'm expecting this stock to again move back to the levels of maybe 2,900 or 3,000 in next few weeks or months. So it will take some time. It's a come bonus candidate. So I am of the view that definitely we should look for adding this stock to our positional portfolio. But yes, at the same time, whatever that we are advising, you should check with your advisors or your uh, uh, like those who are like you from your sources. You have to confirm that whether you can go for it or not. So that disclaimer is always there. Finally, if we go through with few technology companies, then in that Infosys is really doing well. And such type of pennant sort of formation clearly indicates that we are going to see furthermore continuation in the stock. You can see the pattern. It was around 1750, from there all the way it moved to 1950, 1960, and now when there is a correction, we saw a very shallow correction in the stock. Shallow correction means क्या, काफी softly stock ने correct किया है despite there was deep decline in the market. What it means? It means that there is like someone who is consistently taking interest into the stock, and now the stock is above its selling pressure zone. Around 1940, 1930, the stock was finding huge amount of resistance, but today it has managed to uh, break the same, and currently it is trading above the same. Today, in case if we see the stock is closing above the levels of, let's say, 1940, then the chances of hitting 2000, 2050 would turn bright. So Infosys is something which should be on the watch list, and there also we are expecting furthermore upside in the near term. For TCS, it is struggling above important supports, but I always give more weightage to the important supports, long-term supports, whenever there is a correction in the market. So at these levels, TCS is also quite attractive. From the auto space, we like Mahindra and Mahindra, and yes, the company is doing really well. After correcting to the support levels of 3000, now again it is rebounding from the lows. What it means? It means that the stock is very clearly heading higher. But yes, for that, what we need is it should break the previous highest level, which was around 31 3225. So above 3225, the stock will enter into fresh technical breakout, and then the next target would be 3500. So if we consider the stock from the auto basket and ahead of the IPO of auto company, I am of the view that Mahindra and Mahindra should be on the radar. Broadly, I'm of the view that we should not focus more and more on number of stocks, but yes, there are certainly few stocks which are part of index and they are doing well, and those stocks today I have covered. So keep a close watch on these stocks and design your strategy accordingly. That's it from my side, and all the best for you for trading and investing in this market. And please follow us on our social channels, social media channels like Instagram, Telegram, as well as Twitter. Thank you and have a nice day to all of you.
Investments in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.
Good.